All right, guys, here we're talking about the movie in the Fast Lane. 2017's in the Fast Lane. Lee, had you seen it before?
I somehow missed it.
I had seen the trailer.
Okay.
I had not seen the movie before this watch.
Okay, but you had a trailer, right?
I saw the trailer.
And it's not too gay
No.
to watch. It's actually maybe not gay enough, actually. So
I honestly, I was
gay.
thinking it was going to be like
Quite.
a lot more leaning into that, but no, it's approachable.
Well, we should say that it's British too, right? So, or like part of it is British.
Australian.
Something. Okay, it's foreign, which gives it a little cachet in that department. So people are using fun slang and it's like different enough too. That's why I was like, this is foreign and gay. I don't know if I'm gonna get into this, but like, yeah, perfect.
But you're like, that's my alley.
Turns out it's my thing. I don't know.
All right, so if you've seen it or don't care, falls out of spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, Lisa, let me hear your spoiler-filled thoughts on In the Fast Lane.
In the Fast Lane. Yeah! No, I think it succeeds and fails with the casting of our cockslinger.
Okay.
I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah.
He has a really interesting mix of, he looks kind of exotic, which I'll just leave out there and not explain. And he's like buff in like the right way. He's shirtless a lot. He's doing different stuff.
Oh, yes. Well, I think me and my...
He's a thick boy, and you believe like, okay, this is the type of,
Yeah.
he like fits the part. And he has this big fake smile that he
mutton
flashes.
chops, I think, are wonderful, but I would love if they were real.
Right.
Like, I understand 90% of people can't grow like facial hair like that.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought it looked good. Like in the cartoony bit, like drawn as the cover and the poster or whatever. You're like, okay, what is this guy?
No, and yeah, they do complete the look, the hat, the different stuff he's wearing.
He's got a good voice too.
Yes.
He reminds me of like what. If you can look back to when we did Cicada, what the lead of that movie like should have been this guy.
Was pretending to be, yes.
Like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out!
No, and like that's the whole thing, is all these movies, right? They're like, oh, there's rats, or there's like cicadas, or I can't think of any of the other movies we did like this. There's a Sheborg, I don't know, there's all these different, you start with a premise, right? And here they're starting with this very, like even in 2017, it's very dodgy title, very dodgy like premise or whatever.
That's probably the thing that got them the most views, though, because that is a title like grabs.
Absolutely.
My God, who would pay for this?
When you have like gay superheroes, which still there aren't many of them right now. There are in like the Marvel and DC, not cinematic universes, but in their comic universes.
And like you can do I was gonna say something else, but this is an even better way to phrase it. Is like he is a gay superhero, but he's not just a superhero that happens to be gay. He's his superpower is literally him slinging cock as a gay person or whatever. So like it's like intertwined with the thing, and that is like, if anyone's like pitching that to me, I'm like, okay, step one, don't do that, make a different thing. Oh my God, that's never gonna work. And I think they really pulled that off. Like that's of all the problems with the movie, it's not that that it's like too flamboyant or like
no,
not
and nothing is offensive.
Walking the line properly.
And again, like I'm not the person that would take offense to this. Like, but nothing comes out. Like sometimes things go. You're like, oh, you're leaning into something. You're aiming at something in the wrong way.
It's not
everything
too,
here felt cheeky and fun. They're like, oh, he has a sentient penis that is sword fighting on his behalf. Like, there's no way to be like, take that too seriously, because it's clearly a joke.
No, and like that's, I guess too, what I mean is like sometimes I watch something and I'm like, ooh, this is rough, because that's pretty funny, but it's like definitely not okay to do that anymore or whatever. And you're like, what do I do? I like never felt that here. I was never like, yikes. Maybe I was once or twice, but like not enough to be like.
Because nothing that's in this has been done before.
Well, the way they're doing it, like you said, I think fun again is the word. That's what we always come back to in a lot of these, is like the worst thing you can be is boring. The only thing you need to be is like fun in some way. Give me something. And they wouldn't stop giving me things.
This is like a gay superhero version of Dave Made a Maze.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, yep, it's got all that homemade type of a nature to it. Like, Dave!
Hey, follow me.
Shit!
And the homemade style of the filmmaking here is some of the best parts about it, where it's like, oh, that's like a miniature you made. oh, when you stab that person, they turn into a puppet. Oh, like all kinds of weird stuff.
I have in my notes like he stabs someone, they turn into like a pillow version of themselves and then fall down. Like, what am I looking at? Yeah, there's so much crazy stuff like that. So many crazy.
Yeah, both to skirt, I think, what they can do and can't do, what just makes something more outlandish and fun, and like also skirting like sexual stuff too. Like at one point, the person just dropping pearl necklaces on the person.
That's
like,
so funny.
It is funny, but it also avoids it getting into being too crude.
Yeah. Well, and fun is the key there, right?
Yeah.
Because you can like that's become its own genre too. Is like, oh, we don't have any locations or wide shots. Let's just use a fucking miniature where it's like, that's a soda can that I painted white or something. You're like, you suck. You can't just do that and not have the fun attached and the other things. Yeah. Like there's an aerial shot where they're like, look, it's Freaky Town.
Ah, there's Freaky Town.
And it cuts to like this, it's like, and there's like a remote controlled car, and like, and they're like in this Doom Buggy green screen thing, like, we're gay and green, in a Doom Buggy. And then it cuts to the wide, and it's like a Ken doll in a remote controlled car, like falling off of like a rock the size of like the table here. It's like so like. If you don't have it, go so far in the other direction where it's like clearly
so earnestly. Like there's a part where they're going into like a cave and there's just a tiny rock and they made a little entranceway and they film that as if it is a large scale cave and stuff. Yeah. And like it's something that if it was alone and done, it would have been the worst effect in the movie.
We're like, wait, that's supposed to be
But when you combine it with nothing but shots like that throughout the whole film, it makes for an adventure that is fun. And you're like, what is this? What are we doing next? Oh, booby traps? Cool.
Non-stop fun or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, booby traps makes me think of the Elvis bar.
That's what I was thinking of. But
like the one Elvis is just touching different skulls and they light up different colors and then traps trigger randomly in the place. So you're like, this is so fun. This is so outlandish. It's great.
He hits one of his own henchwomen in the face with these spikes and she has them in her face the rest of the scene. And I love that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that where I'm like, oh, there you go. You did the thing. I like it.
Freaktown for me in this film is really where it like, oh, this movie's great.
Okay.
Because there's like a frog person, there's crab people.
Oh, Shay Claw.
There's multi-armed scratch my beard guy.
Nobody could handle that thing.
And just all these characters, and like a lot of them are not hero type shots. It's a person that's like just in the background. It's like, oh, I have a silver mask on the side of my head. Like just stupid things like that. But the ones that are the ones that are in the shot, you're like, oh, this is great.
No, you have to be a freak to go to Freaktown.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
The giant girl who's like the leader.
I didn't realize she was giant until that one scene.
It's not done as well in every shot, but they do make it work, but it's not quite to the level of like The Hobbit or anything.
No, but like when the other chick is like, holding on to her, like, she'll protect me, and it's just like giant thigh and like the fishnets, and she's like this.
Wanda's way more of a woman than you'll ever be. And she treats me like the woman that I am.
But there's one scene where she gets up and like boom, boom, because the whole time they're playing in this low voice and she's like booming around, and I'm like, I don't know if I just missed it or could be because it was in Freaktown where she walks up to someone else and has to like crouch down and be like, oh, I'm gonna do this to you. And it's like, I'm like, Wanda's giant. What the fuck?
Everyone's on their knees at one point when she like walks up to the wrestling ring. Yeah, there's a lot of things there. And then at one point it's done really well when she's first coming in to fight Cockslinger or whatever. And like he must be green screened in because she is epically large.
I'm here to cut you down to size.
I've squashed a lot bigger buggers than you in my time.
That might be the scene that I'm thinking of. Because she's fought like a Godzilla in the ring, and you're just like, oh, I guess, whatever. But no, that was a giant lizard man that she killed with her bare hands. Yes, it's like, oh shit.
Ripped him limb from limb.
Yeah, it was like throwing the pieces to the crowd like, haha, yes.
Some very eager chef collecting those pieces to make
this will be good. Stew. Yes.
There's an animation sequence like right in the beginning that I was like, oh, this is pretty good too. It reminds me of any old like 80s movies start.
What are you talking about?
It opens with an animated sequence.
Okay.
And it is not a animated sequence that you would think would be in this. That would be like MS Paint and like slowly moving around things.
Yes.
It was like a well done, we're like, oh, this would be like the opening of an Ali Sheedy movie. Like this is a real animation.
What is it? I forget the opening animation.
It's a cartoon. It's hard to describe other than it's a very well-made cartoon intro sequence. I'll cut most of this out.
What happens in it? What do you mean? I forget what happens in the intro sequence.
Like credit things, and people are just moving and doing things, and think like they're lassoing words and doing stuff. Like it's not like a part of the movie. It's just an intro sequence. Okay. You're on drugs. Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while since I've seen the intro. That's the thing I saw longest ago.
I haven't watched it in 3 days or so I couldn't tell you a thing that happens.
Stuck with you.
But I wrote down the word animation, and notes don't lie.
That's what it says on the notes.
Let's cut to a little bit of wanky panky.
Just scared shitless of a little bit of delicious wanky panky.
The movie is it's like a road adventure movie almost, right? The pattern of it and everything. We have a quest. We have to go retrieve the golden cock from Wanda and the Chompers.
Yeah.
And we end up with this unlikely crew. It's our cock slinger. It's another dude, a bald, big bald dude.
Chardonnay. So cheap.
Whose name is Reginald Lumpin III, I believe.
They call him Lump.
Lump is, for short. But Reginald Lumpin III is so amazing. And he's like, I'm going to deepest, darkest Africa to bring back a whatever, Kilimanjaro. Like, he's one of those guys, which is insane. And then, yes, he's all like,
he was in the Boer War. Like, he looks like,
Yeah, he's like, hairy and tough, just like I like them. And he keeps making a bunch of funny gay comments and all that stuff.
Tough and hairy. Just how I like it.
And then we have a Boy Scout.
Stop moving, squirt.
And some sort of I don't know. Salome, I believe is the name. They refer to her as a her, but it starts out as a he because they're undercover.
And hurry up with those dishes, pig!
Up yours.
Yeah.
In like a bar or whatever. He's like, I'm Turkish,
like
or some weird thing like that.
Or something.
But then that character knows kung fu and then becomes a goddess for these people. Like it goes places.
Yeah, she is like the best fighter of their group, I want to say.
Like
she kills
easily
like,
dispatches
lots of
people.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very interesting. Very funny.
Yeah, she is very much like a Bloody Mallory character. She reminds me of what was the one's name? Like Terra Luna or something?
I thought about Bloody Mallory so many times during this movie because it has a very similar weird... Yeah, something like that.
Caravina?
Something? Ooh. No, yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Forgot the name.
Play a clip.
All right, Vina, clean this up.
The Boy Scout who's with them was against their will. He was originally part of some gay bashers.
No mercy for these freckled fossickers.
The one thing I really can't stand is blatant intolerance.
Yeah.
And part of the journey is him slowly becoming gayer in different ways and then falling for Cockslinger at the end, which is funny.
I think that's that closet thing where oh, I hate this thing that I am type of thing, and like they're just like the most like rednecky group of like just oh, we hate you because you're homosexual, we'll club you with these bats or whatever. And like that's kind of when I knew the movie was gonna be great, when like he throws that guy into the garbage can and just like stabs him with a baseball bat.
I'm certainly enjoying giving these bigots the taste of their own medicine.
You're like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I thought that was a little over the top and weird,
it's
but like
very over the top, especially when it cuts to being like
much.
A dummy butt, and the police chief is like, oh, it looks like he had a Babe Ruth take his temperature or something.
Yeah.
Looks like Babe Ruth's been taking your temperature.
Yeah, the cops very crass and everything. Yeah, and they had they pull the bat out and it's all bloody and weird. It's a fake butt. What made that scene for me is like they're talking the whole time it's happening, and the one guy is in the can, so he's like all like muffled and shit. And I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. That's pretty,
that
it's a
whole
little
scene,
more.
I was like, okay, I know where we're going.
Yeah, you know what they're willing to do and accomplish and stuff. Yeah.
Queer scum took your son. My boy!
I didn't know why that dude ended up dressed like a Boy Scout later, but I was like, that's perfect, that's hilarious.
I think it was, and I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, because through one turn of events to another, as
he loses his clothes,
thing,
yes.
There's all these claymation animals that lose his clothes, and I think that was just an outfit they had in the van, like one of their costumes or whatever.
Well, No, I just mean like there's no scene where they say like, here, put this on. Like there's no, I don't think so. There might be, but he's in a fucking Boy Scout uniform the whole time, being like, get off me, what do you mean, no? And then like Cockslinger's like helping him climb over something and like looking at his butt like, oh yeah, there's all this fucking shit's happening.
Like, oh, look at my butt flex, shot.
Oh, we're gonna do this, and he's like, don't threaten me with a good time. Like it's this weird sort of triple entendre, right? Because we know what he means.
Of course. I don't want to breeze over too quickly on that claymation jungle.
Exactly.
There's so many animals that are in it for just like a few seconds.
Yeah.
That it's just like, okay, well, like you didn't need any of this. This probably took a lot of time, effort, and money.
Yeah.
But it's in there. And there's a lot of scenes like that. It has that like Mighty Boosh quality where for a 5-second gag, we put in a lot of effort.
No, they do like an Alice in Wonderland. He's all like in the woods, like running around and keeps meeting things that keep eating his clothing.
Yeah, all penis themed.
Hilarious. Oh yeah. Every animal and plant has a cock of some sort, right? So this is symbolizing his latent urges, like attacking him or something. But what
he's on walkabout.
What literally made me like die though is at the end it cuts back to like the beaver or whatever it is, and he's like, "Oh, I'm leaving now. I'm just a hallucination, and he like fucking like fades away and disappears because he declares himself to be a hallucination.
The beaver made me laugh in his first appearance because he like drops the chain that was binding him and he's like, oh, bit of bling. That made me laugh.
Oh, look, nice bit of bling. That's mine now. No, you can't have it back.
He's like, that's mine now. Fuck you. All that stuff. Yeah. The whole character there. But just the whole like, I'm just a hallucination. No. Like disappearing. I was like, all right.
I'm just another bleeding hallucination.
There's like a Bollywood-style play of the origin of this golden penis they're trying to find.
Yes.
It was so precious, it was so fine, it was magic. And it rescued me.
I thought that was a little underwhelming for how much time we spent on it, but I did appreciate it that it existed.
This is probably not a flaw, but like a detract for me at least, right? Yeah, I think that there's too much, and I think that part of all the things that I'm like, this is fine. I'm like, that's a little cringy. This like weird Indian character doing weird Indian.
So like what I didn't know, and it's either funny or it's bad, is that they dub everything he says.
By the hair on an elephant's wart, destroy them all.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's funny because you dubbed everything he says, like, oh, that's funny.
Right.
Or is it like, well, he was very hard to understand, so we had to dub everything he said. And it could be either way.
I would suspect the latter, no offense to anyone involved, but it has a vibe. Because, like, there's a scene I noticed, they're all in the car talking, and it keeps cutting to the back seat where that character is, but he's not physically with them. They're never on camera together.
We've got to stick together.
It's better than going off on some wild peacock chase.
It's just like, what do you think? And then he's like, I think this in the back. It's like it's just separate shots, and then they leave the car, and that character leaves and goes off on his own adventure. Like something, it feels like there's some problem with.
I have a feeling that guy wasn't around for a lot of it because there's a part where he's driving and the like semi POV shot is like fake hands touching the steering wheel. And I was like, is this because it's a weird joke. If it's just a joke, like, oh look, he's got fake hands. That's such an odd choice, but if it's we couldn't get him for this shot, quick, make some paper mache hands.
No, but like it feels like something happened, like they had to correct for something or whatever. Because they hold up a fake head and then it pops to his face for a minute, and like thinking now, I'm like, is that just an alternate take of an earlier scene? Because he's like, I hope donkeys feast upon your, nutsack, or he says an insult, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, what are we doing?
That's another moment though where I'm like, oh, that poorly green screened head on there could just be funny. Or is it a lack of options?
May a crocodile make love to your mother's entrails. Ouch!
I think that a lot of the stuff that's funny was them making the best of the situation, and they're making the best of something here, but it's something else that's like not just like we don't have money or we don't have time. It's something else. I feel like it's some weird flaw with this actor, with the locations, with his ability to get there, or his ability to finish the shoots or something. Something happened. They had to go film shit with him later, or they had to cut something or fix something.
It's gonna be faggot fritters unless you shove off now.
There's a tool mark from some work that was done on the movie.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like makes it like this part's not, and like the payoff is not amazing yet.
Die, freaks!
No.
He ends up getting killed, which is actually a nice where they're like digging into his head with the cock, and it's like burger.
I wrote, this man is skull fucked.
He's been skull fucked to death, exactly, which is cool. But the whole lead up and his whole like, I'm getting my cock back and stuff, and you're like,
He has a power to like summon snakes or something. And at one point he like pops the snake up and he throws it at the dudes with the blow up dolls, and I thought that was hysterical.
Put that snake away.
The guy's like, whoa!
Yeah. So dumb.
Like,
it's very funny.
They have a good sense of humor where they're able to say like, well, it's funny to have this like mafia Indian guy also making this weird porn on the side, and then and then you kind of forget about that guy, and then he throws a snake at him, and they go, oh, he's doing his thing, and it cramps his style. That guy who cannot be more, he's just like, ugh, I have to fuck these things. He's so bored. So like, ugh.
Anyone would think you were Mahatma Gandhi on a hunger strike? Stick it in there. Don't wave it around like
exhausted.
He's the director. No,
I hope so.
The
director was the narrator? No, commentator, it says.
Something,
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Who knows? The big bald guy was listed as a fight coordinator.
I believe that.
Yeah.
That's it. Appropriate.
Just because you couldn't tell him not to do, he was just, I'm doing that, I don't care.
Guys, everyone my new Versace? Surely we don't need him that bad, do we?
What might have made me laugh the most in the movie, but then also, like, I was like, it went too far, was when he's having sex with the girl in the car.
This?
I had to lay low in that cesspit of a lunch bar.
And at one point he like pops up to the front. He's like, "Oh yes!" Like it's filmed from the driver's side window, and you see him pop into the front. And whatever he says there, I was like, "Oh, bravo! That's hilarious."
Hey, look at me!
And then it went on for like 3 more minutes, and I was like, "That's too much."
Okay. Yes, this is after the diner when they're reunited. You mean them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one in that same sequence where like I don't know if the person filming couldn't see what they were filming, but like they're supposed to be like having sex, and the angle the two of them are sitting at, it's impossible for anything to be happening.
Oh, and no one robs my mama.
I'm your damn mama.
And gets away with it.
Sir, it's impossible for me to have grabbed your ass from where I'm standing.
Sir, from where I'm standing, that's a physical impossibility.
I know your tricks, Dewey.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing movies just do, where it's like constantly like, why are you? What do you understand what sex is? You're sitting on that man's nipples. Like, what's happening?
Yeah, fully clothed somehow, or like
this. She's like sitting on his knees. Like she's like so far away from any of the business.
Okay, and like that's not a joke. Or
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, we do learn later on he has like an 8-foot penis that can do a lot of things, but like you can almost see that it's not using it.
We could probably show a lot of this in different ways. It's a fake cock too.
Yeah.
But when the big bald guy has like a centerfold, like, look at what you're missing out on. Look at all this delicious cock meat, and it's like a centerfold that folds out into some like dude or whatever. But there's like another centerfold, which is like an accordion of thing for his enormous The cock's like longer than him. It's like it's like falling down. It's like,
and that dude spits on it. He's like, this is a one of a kind.
That's my only copy. It's a collectible.
You disgust me.
You can't resist it. Eat it. Eat it!
It's a collectible. And then he rips it off and shoves it in his mouth.
Yeah, no. But he spits on the giant cock. That's funny. And then he yells at him. You don't take it like this.
The way he like spits out the crumbled up dick though, like it goes out in such a humorous way. I was like, because you can't plan how it's gonna happen. You just have to be lucky. Yeah.
They did it hundreds of times until that happened. Exactly. Yeah.
It was the Tobey Maguire catching the food on the tray scene. It took 108 tries.
Did he do that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So the bad guys, though, right? It wouldn't be like an adventure or a road trip or a chase, whatever, without bad guys, right? So the sheriff, who that Boy Scout is, it's his father, right?
Yes.
They're all a bunch of no-good Marys that need to be taken down. How dare Squirt get himself kidnapped? Stupid little shit.
That sheriff, and he pairs up with some weird, like, FBI agent, techno, torture, anti-gay, and they're both like, we hate gay people so much. Yeah, me too, lad. Oh, we hate gay people. That's all they're doing is talking about how much they hate gay people and stuff. Yeah, they're like, this is awesome and stuff.
Oh, I've got a mounting appetite for fag deletion, and I got just the program to cut the smile off that big baldy bear.
And, they get split up, I think, right? We get a great, like, techno torture thing where the guy, he's like, he's like, he loves his finger so much, and then the other guy bites it off.
It's like Shakespeare's quill. Hell, it's better than John Holmes' cock.
The thing, like almost out of Robo Geisha, where like he spits the the finger into his own eye.
Yeah. Yes, like shrimp.
And because it's a digital like torture device, his like head explodes from like the lasers.
It's like
or whatever.
projecting numbers and code onto his body somehow, because it's like shooting
from
into
the
him
inside,
and stuff. Yeah, it's great. And then he ends up in the computer at the end.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you
Easter
kept
egg.
watching.
Of course,
yeah,
of course.
We were supposed to, but we don't always do it. Yeah, so like that's like your teaser. Like he'll be back as like Dr. Gaybash Techno.
And there totally
or
could be a sequel to this.
Yeah.
Like because of what I imagine the length it took to. There's like no information on this on like their like fun facts section of IMDb. I didn't check the Wikipedia, but I imagine it was going to be a similar thing there. But I bet you this took years to film. So like if you said,
like,
oh
for
yeah,
fun.
the sequel, is going to be like. In 2029, I'd be like, of course it is.
Of
like
course.
That's just how long it takes.
That's what they do
We're making all these puppets by hand. How else do you think it takes?
Yeah, I really wonder this story. I didn't look that hard, but I looked enough on IMDb to be like, oh, because sometimes you click like, well, what else has this person directed or what else has this person been in? A lot of the actors and actresses in this, they have one credit and it's this.
I wanted you to say this.
I'm not saying the title anymore. In the fast lane. Yeah. Yeah. They have one credit and it's this, or they have two credits and it's two things that they were doing for this. It's like, like fuck, okay, fine. But not everybody, right? Certain people, like the cockslinger himself, I think, is an actor and whatever. But
there's like crazy props people though. Like, either you had 100 props dudes working on all these different things, or it was like one dude working for like a year to make all these things.
No, it must be like a passionate thing or whatever. And that production company that doesn't have a thing really right, whatever. So you're like, okay.
There's a part where a guy gets killed by like a guillotine that's in like a snake theme. And I'm like, did you just own this already? It's such a weird thing to have. Like, and in the script, he gets killed by a snake guillotine. You can make that, right? I guess. I'm already making a whole village, but all right.
Yeah, just a king cobra guillotine thing and the blood and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were several moments where I was like, oh, they did it. I did the whole thing where I'm like, yeah, look.
Yeah, no, a lot.
Yeah, you guys, they did it.
I thought you had him secured tight.
So we mentioned miniatures already. I love when like the miniature bar explodes.
Yeah.
Because it explodes in like a way where like you only had one take, so you couldn't do it. But like it exploded in a way where you're like, oh, there's nothing there. Like it was just it's see-through. Okay.
Yeah.
But like I still love seeing miniatures in general. Like and yes, actual explosions always fun. Like the scale is weird, but I love it.
365 degrees burning down the house.
I always preferred Tom Jones.
Who?
Yeah, no, you get a nice vibe. Like we'll just show some other random clip here where it's like a composite. They go into, I think when they go into Freaky Town too, they play like they're like, we have to have a wide shot here for some reason. It's just like the fake toys and garbage.
Yeah.
And it's just
the close-up is just like cardboard and chain link fence.
Knock landed.
Thanks. But let me do the talking.
Halt!
It all works.
Totally fine.
In fact, they soon discover it's a treat they can't live without.
Like another little detail that I think are what really adds to the production here is there's like Native American characters that eventually like are what's her name? Salami? Whatever the fuck her name is becomes like the queen of.
All hail the goddess Shimali, the golden light of the hermaphrodite.
Like that dude comes at them with brass knuckles made of bones.
Yeah.
And I just like, I love that. Like.
Yeah, everything is like thematic. Everything has a thing, even if the theme is like insanity that makes no sense. Because I realized later, like they have like a crab claw lady.
Yeah.
Who's just like, my power is I have a crab claw. But way in the beginning, when they like rob Cockslinger's mom, I think, right?
Yeah.
Runs a like bordello for old ladies or something.
Come to Kitten's now! You always have a great time at Kitten's.
and like whatever, she gets robbed. But there's a great shot of that crab hand like tearing the safe apart.
Yeah.
Like tearing the door apart. Like, oh shit, just this like powerful to establish the power of
the whole crew of chompers. Yeah. There's one with no arms and she like throws knives with her toes and shit.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's cool.
Nice to see you, Brenda.
It's like a super tiny lady.
I'll give you a trip that won't go back.
Yeah. And then maybe an even tinier lady, because at one point they do like an Ant-Man blow up. They're like, look, she's so small.
There's a circular insert because someone like throws something to the ground, right? Yeah. And there's a circular insert of like, hey, hit me in the head with that thing, whatever. Yeah, it's a fucking thing. Yeah, it's wild. It's
we have bearded ladies.
These treasures will guide the way. It's a forest down there.
We got all kinds of stuff in this movie.
Yeah, and they all participate in these raucous fight scenes and various crazy things that happen.
As you do.
All right, I just want to briefly mention that there's like an intro with like a dad and a family or whatever, right? And then that dad goes out for some cock or whatever.
All right, well, I guess it's time to take the dog for a walk, huh?
Darling.
All right, come here, Smokey.
Yeah. That whole thing. The dad reminded me of one of the kids in the hall.
Bag.
I could not unsee it, and it made it so much funnier to me when he's just out there. And like his wife was on the phone, his kids, everyone's just like he's like, well, honey, we're gonna do this. And she's just like, fuck you, like stop. And he's like, all right, I'll see you later, going for a while.
Hey kids. Hey honey.
I like single origin as much as the next.
He leaves and then he's like, hey everybody, oh the more the merrier. Like it's very funny. And then the cockslinger saves him and stuff.
The more the merrier. I would scram if I were you.
That's how we get that butt thing.
He gets pulled in by Lump, and Lump gives him a little quick action before he comes into the fight, and he's like just covered in whipped cream, it looked like.
Yeah, he's like, I was busy.
Fashionably late.
Yeah. Instead of doing pearl necklaces or something else, it's like but it's like an entire thing of whipped cream. It's hilarious.
Oh, it might be more than one.
I'm sorry, shaving cream.
You're looking for a bit of sweet ass action,
right? Shaving cream, you think?
I think it's probably shaving cream. Yeah.
But it's like it's just like, oh, he's just like doing it. It's great. It's wonderful.
I'm gonna end right there because people need to know you think it's wonderful.
We did it.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Oh, you bastard, you faggy bastard!
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinions you can really trust. Come and browse our aisles for the movies that you love and know. Stop by Cannibal